Hello, One Take Ellen here again with another edition of, I hope the phone doesn't ring in the middle of while I'm recording this. Today's Ask the Author question is from Karen in Little Rock, who says, what is the best way to actually complete a book? I always start out and get a half written and then I don't finish it because I don't know how to finish it, even though I know how I want it to go. I think what Karen is saying is that she's not looking for really so much craft information on how to figure out where you want the story to go, but how to find the motivation once you've started to actually get all the way to the end of the book. And I think that the answer to this is always the same, and it always comes down to setting deadlines. At this point in my career, I have deadlines that are imposed in a contract, but it wasn't always the case for me, and I actually employ a lot of the same methods now, even though I am on a contract deadline, as I did when I was self-imposing a deadline. So here's what I do, and hopefully it will work for you too. It's always very helpful to be able to see the end in sight. So you need to pick a realistic goal for the number of pages you can write in, say, a week. Let's say you decide that you can write 10 pages a week. I think that's a perfectly realistic goal. If you work 5 days a week, that's 2 pages a day. We're talking double-spaced pages here, of course. So what I do is I open up my calendar and I start to write down, starting with whatever page I'm on. If I'm on page 45, then I'll write down at the end of this week page 55, and then at the end of the next week page 65, and I keep going until I get to what my target number of pages is. If I want to write a 400-page book, I'll get to about that point. Then I look at the calendar and I see, okay, at this date I'm going to have a whole book. For me, that's very helpful to have those kind of goals. And like I said, I do that now, even though I have a contract. I mean, I tend to work backwards. And an added benefit of that is if you can actually get more pages done than you have written down in your schedule, you'll just feel great. You're beating your deadline. What else did I want to say about that? Here's another little trick that I employ. Well, it wasn't really a trick, but it just in a very practical sense. When I was at your stage and I was not a contracted author, I had a friend or two who I exchanged chapters with. We were critique pals, and we would email chapters back and forth and write comments on each other's chapters. That also was very motivating in a way to keep push forward. Your friend sends you a chapter, you send them a chapter. It's very, very back and forth. Becomes a little social thing, and it's also very rewarding. You're getting feedback on every chapter that you write, so that's very motivating. So that's another thing you can do. If you don't have a critique pal, try to find somebody out there whose sensibilities match your own and who you can send chapters back and forth with. So that's my edition of Ask the Author for today. I just want to mention that so far all of my questions have come from women, and I love you gals, and I love getting those questions, but if you guys out there want to ask questions, please send them along. I'm not leaving anybody out. I just haven't gotten questions from any men. So let's keep this going another week if we can. Okay? Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Bye.